Hi, and welcome to the Modern Persian Food Podcast. We are food bloggers,
Bita Arabian,
and Bita Kelly, and we're here to share with you the rich flavors and fresh ingredients of Persian cooking and how to incorporate them into today's modern lifestyles.
We're excited to introduce you to the flavors, tastes, and techniques we use, and also our own cultural stories and perspectives growing up in the U.S. in a Persian family. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to episode number 26. Today we are talking about flowers, and in Farsi, gol, how flowers originated in Iran and play a role in our culture, and also some of the culinary uses of flowers in our cuisine. And I'm very happy and excited to have sitting right next to me a special guest. We have Maman Jaleh. We call her MJ for short. She is the mother of my husband, and so honored to have you with us here, MJ. Hello.
Good to be here.
So MJ has over 20 years of experience in the flower industry, having been a talented designer, as well as a business owner and manager of 2 flower shops right here in the Bay Area. And so we thought that what better way to talk about this subject than to have our own family and regional specialist here with us. We also, of course, have my partner, Bita June. Hi, Bita.
Hi there, ladies. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. MJ, thank you so much for joining us today. We're super excited to have you and to learn about, your history and also the role of flowers and gul in Persian culture and in Persian food.
Likewise.
Yeah, thank you. Would you mind just taking a few minutes just to tell us a little bit about flowers and gul in the history of Iran and what role that plays in the history of Persian culture?
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Thank you.
And, flowers are the essential part of Iranian and the way of the life in Iran. Mm-hmm. The country is literally called the country of flowers and nightingale because just give us a little bit of potted flowers, running a stream, and a book of poetry, and we are very happy to spend our hours just looking at the flowers and just immerse ourselves on the beauty of it. The scarcity of the water in Iran makes the way that we always develop ways to make the maximum out of what we have. So basically, potted flowers are always very popular in Iran rather than cut flowers. And we do have the affinity to have potted flowers in our houses as much as we can. Also, the way that we use the flowers in our cuisine would be something that is in the same line of your podcast and your presentation. We don't use that much flowers in our cuisine, but what we use is very aromatic and pleasant to the eye, starting with saffron, that is known to be more precious than gold, and then using the rose petals, which is also very aromatic, and some orange blossoms. And of course, the rest of it falls into the category of herbs and spices rather than just using it in the cuisine.
From a presentation standpoint, when we look at the different sofreh that we have, like the sofreh aghd or the sofreh hafsin, we see that flowers play a large role in that too. They're always present. They're always there to make it beautiful and also for symbolic reasons as well. And that's such a beautiful scene that you described a few minutes ago about they can be happy with just sitting with flowers and a book of poetry by like a stream of running water. And I feel that a lot of times when you see older Persian art, you see like the miniatures like sitting there.
Yes.
I could completely visualize it, that sometimes there's like paintings, or even like sometimes in carpets, they'll have the carpet knotted in a way that you see a scene and it shows them just relaxing, laid back.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing that. with us.
Sure.
And I also have heard that you're an amazing chef and like to entertain and have big parties.
Yes.
So you mentioned saffron. So saffron's kind of like one of the most popular Persian ingredients.
Yeah.
So I think of saffron when tahdig is like a big area where we talk about saffron.
You nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite ways to use saffron?
I learned the cooking technically by myself, trial and error. And the way that I use saffron is basically for rice.
Okay.
Of course, traditionally for Zereshk, that is, essential.
Barberry.
Barberry. Saffron is essential. Then the way I use it, I, of course, grind it really fine. I dissolve it in hot water, and I keep it in refrigerator. So whenever I'm making rice, after I make the rice, I just put some saffron on top. And you don't need to put too much since it's so aromatic, and it just adds the color, which is beautiful, and the flavor. I don't think you can compare it to anything in any cuisine that is this amazing, I would call it.
Yeah.
A lot of people use it in their sauces like khoresh and other things. You can also use it in tea.
Oh, yes.
When you steam the tea, it's very aromatic. I would say that I use it very scarcely because, first of all, it's a precious commodity. Second of all, you cannot use too much of it.
Right.
It has to be done in moderation. You can't have too much saffron.
It's potent.
It is
really
potent.
strong.
Yeah, it is potent, actually.
Yeah. It'll overpower the dish if you put too much.
It does. It kind of enhances the flavor of whatever you are cooking. It helps to bring the color and the fragrance to the dish.
Yeah, aromatic. For
Aromatic.
I love it. Another flower that we have to kind of use a little sparingly because it can overpower as well is rose and rose water.
Yes.
Definitely.
Rose water, a lot of times we see those in desserts, Persian little sweets or like some ice creams. But I'm also learning that you can use rose and rose water in more savory dishes as well. Bita, you were talking about a rice dish that you added a little bit of rose to the other day.
I sometimes will add it to shirin polo or the jeweled rice, either a little bit of rose or orange blossom water. But I think it's not as common in the savory dishes as in the sweet dishes, as far as I know. But the rose petals, the dried rose, culinary rose petals, can often be used, as far as I know, in more savory dishes like even lubia polo or decoratively on a mastokhiyar and those type of dishes.
That special kind of rose is originally from Iran and from central part of Iran, which they also distill the rose water. It's very much like making alcohol. It's the same process. And that's why the real rose water would not go bad if you keep it. So it has been used in Persian cuisine, I think, extensively, as you mentioned it, in our desserts and so forth. But it has to be used in moderation. And sometimes I just put it in tea, even a drop or so, when I'm steaming the tea. It adds such an amazing flavor to the tea. It's just unbelievable. But nevertheless, using it in the savory dishes, yes, you can. Everything in moderation, because as saffron, this also takes over the flavor of the food. And these basically are enhancers for the food, not to be used too much.
Yeah.
I'm curious about gulnar, sometimes known as the fire flower. So Maman Jaleh has some beautiful pomegranate trees. And I don't know how it's used in cuisine, but I think it comes from the flower of pomegranates.
Yeah, it's the first, of course, the pomegranate flowers, and it's called gulnar. And it's absolutely beautiful. Once you start looking at the pomegranate tree, every stage of this tree is like you can write books about it. I just love it. And Gulnar is like a color of fire and just beautiful.
What about Gulper?
That's Angelica.
Oh, okay. That's Angelica. Okay. I've heard people have that sometimes with like fava beans.
Yes, it's delicious. And then you can put it on the pomegranate as well.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I've heard that too.
It's finely ground and just a little bit on top of fava beans. And it's, it just is such a fantastic spice. And I think it's underappreciated. And the reason is that it's very potent. So you cannot really use it in different kind of cuisine. So it just wakes you up when you smell the Angelica. It awakens all your senses. It's a wonderful spice.
Wow, sounds beautiful.
I'm not sure this is technically a flower, but somar, it comes from the berry, but
It's like a pepper trees.
Oh, okay.
They have so much of a medicinal value, somar. It's kind of antibacterial and, you can experiment it in different kind of dishes. Sometimes I put it in like khoresh bademjun, and just a hint of it. Anything to do with the beef.
Yeah, and on kebabs and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, enhances it. And it's, from what they say, it has like antibacterial qualities that would prevent, if the meat is, not of the highest quality, it kind of helps you digest it better.
Oh.
digestion.
Yeah,
Speaking
it's
of
pretty good.
digestion, that's leading us into a question that was from a few episodes back. We had the Moody Persian.
Masa was our special guest that day.
Yeah, Massa wanted to know if we believed in the hot and cold food category. And, I did my best to answer it, but I don't personally understand about the hot and cold food categories. And so I thought maybe we might ask you to see how you would explain it to us.
My knowledge is also very limited.
That's okay.
But growing up, when you would eat a lot of like fruits in the summertime, and then you would not feel good, they would say in Farsi that مثلا سردیش کرده. So they would balance it with like rock candy. They would give you a portion of rock candy, maybe some weak tea.
Chai
nabat. And it would sort of balance your digestive system. And it works. And it still works in so many wonderful ways. For example, like by region, you get used to the kind of food that the earth gives you. I'm not a scientist, but your DNA kind of develops with the food that you can get your hands on. Whatever your palate is used to. And once you go overboard with experimenting like too much of the fresh fruit that are not in your palate, then once you don't feel good, you balance it with something that is either hot or cold. So when you eat food, you eat fruit that doesn't agree with you, you give nabat and chai to balance the food. So basically, hot and cold food in nature are supposed to be in balance in your body. Anything from either one that doesn't agree with you, you balance it or you counter with the remedies that are common knowledge. If you want to balance yogurt, in mastokhiyar you add raisins and you add mint.
Oh.
They both are warm in nature. Yogurt is cold in nature as far as the food categories are concerned. So, of course, you add your salt and pepper and so forth. But this is the kind of cuisine that by experiment, we know that you can add this to mastokhiyar. I'm not that expert, but we don't know why we do this, but we do it and it works. That's the extent of my knowledge.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
This has been such a fun episode. Thank you so much for spending time with us today, MJ June. It was great to hear your experience and also your perspective when it comes to flowers and gul in Persian culture and Persian cuisine. So thank you so much for spending your day with us and teaching us.
Thank you for having me. I hope I didn't confuse anybody.
No, it was wonderful. So thank you for joining us, MJ, who's always been my personal inspiration in terms of cooking. And this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much. And until next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye. So you've been listening to Modern Persian Food with Bita and Beata. Thanks for spending time with us. If you enjoyed what you heard today, consider telling your friends or giving us a good rating on iTunes. You can subscribe to our show for free on your favorite podcasting app or find us online at modernpersianfood.com for recipes and info that we talked about today. Thanks so much. We'd love to hear your thoughts and see you next time.